was born into war and poverty. Then things really got bad. Tonight, hear the remarkable survival story of V. Truong. Watch as his dream comes true. A daring escape from Vietnam, a life-or-death voyage at sea.
I actually have a prayer. I was begging God to kill me at that point.
Step by step, V discovers a path towards success in Boston while building a whole new family.
I think I represented like a mother figure for him here because his mom was back in Vietnam.
At last, his lifelong dream comes true.
You're not doing V any favors by hiring him. Your office needs him.
V's journey, next on Chronicle.
Today we have the swearing-in of V. Truong, who will be
February 21st, 2003. V. Truong is sworn in as a prosecutor for the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office.
I, V. Truong,
do solemnly swear
that
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
With a solemn pledge and a flurry of handshakes, the 30-year-old Vietnamese American fulfills a dream and triumphs over a string of nightmares from his past. The ravages of war, a death-defying escape from home, 3 long years in refugee camps, isolation and racism in a strange new world. V. Truong survived these horrors, but has forgotten none of them. 1973. V is born into a war-torn Saigon, the capital city of South Vietnam. His family of 6 shares a single room.
It was very tough. We were very poor. It's a very little house, about the size of this room, 12 by 12, I think. And we sleep on the floor.
By 1975, the war had ended and Saigon had fallen. The communists were in control. And for the Truong family, things began to spiral out of control. A 3 a.m. knock on the door changed their lives forever.
It's the police, and within 3 seconds, if you don't open the door, they just bang the door and come in and said, "You're under arrest. Let go."
V watched in horror as the police dragged his father away. The family had no idea where he was being taken or why.
Might your father have worked for the CIA?
I should know that he used to work for the South Vietnam government during the Vietnam War, which is supported by the American government. And I think that has a lot to do with it.
Now it was up to V's mother to keep the family together. She found work running a small restaurant, all the while hoping against hope her husband would return.
It was very tough on her. And I basically have to go to school in the morning. When at night I have to help her out, whether open a restaurant, cooking for the restaurant, or do anything just to support the family.
Fearing for her children's safety, V's mother scrimped, saved, and borrowed every bit she could. By 1988, she had pooled the equivalent of $2,000, enough to buy her 14-year-old son, V, a chance for a better life. In the dark of a warm summer night, V scrambled on board a fishing vessel to escape Vietnam. His first taste of a new life was anything but sweet.
As soon as I get on the boat, they said, "Get down." And they have a little hole, small hole, and they put the fish in down there. We're supposed to go down there where the fish used to be, so the smell was. Needless to say, the smell wasn't pleasant. So we get down there, because if we happen to be up on the boat, the police would know that we're escaping because so many people on the boat.
V and 64 others huddled below deck, all hoping to find asylum, not even knowing where that might be.
Everybody is on his or her own when it comes to escaping from Vietnam, because you don't know what's going to happen to you.
Under star-filled skies, V and the others discovered the truth about this voyage. There was no navigational system on board, and more importantly, no supplies of food or water.
We did not have anything to eat or to drink. What we drink is the water that cool up the engine. First on you see the rust the rust, the rust of the engine in there. Also, we're not supposed to drink the whole thing. So all we have to do is we have to take a sip of water in order for all people to survive.
One morning, beneath a blazing sun, the South China Seas began to churn, and 14-year-old V became deathly ill.
I actually have a prayer. I was begging God to kill me at that point, because I basically said that I couldn't handle it anymore. I like, just kill me now. Basically, I gave up.
After 4 days without food or water, V's misery was about to come to an end, a brutal end.
The captain came to me and he said that you are the wickedest person on this boat. So he said that the next day, if we don't get to an island, they will probably have to kill me for food and water.
Cannibalism, he was saying that.
Exactly, and strange enough, I actually thanked him for it. I actually told him if he wanted to do it, why don't he should do it now.
But miraculously, the next morning brought clear blue skies and calm seas.
Right in the middle of nowhere, all of a sudden we saw a blue dot. And everyone was jump up and down, was so happy. So people started thinking it's an island. If it's another country island, we're safe. But if it's a Vietnam island, we will be put in prison.
Would this dot of an island deliver their freedom, or would they be sentenced back to sea? The answer lay just hours away.
Still to come, head of the class. Next up, fighting for his life all over again, this time in Texas.
You're watching Chronicle with Peter Mahegan, Mary Richardson, Chet Reinstein, and Mike Barnacle. Chronicle, New England's nightly news magazine.
Truong and the 64 other boat people could only watch the dot on the horizon. How far had they traveled? Which island had they spotted? Ships passed them. None came to their rescue. They would have to make a decision.
Finally, we came to a consensus that we will die one way or the other. So we decided to go in there. And fortunately, it happened to be a Malaysia resort and the last island of Malaysia.
Tired, sick, and afraid, all 64 escapees were taken to a Malaysian refugee camp. They had survived the voyage, but what seemed like the end was only the beginning.
What we do is, I think it's a lot of wasting of time. All we have to do is we just like wandering, waiting for another country to give us a visa.
These days were spent filling out forms, waiting and hoping for a visa from a country half a world away.
America was always the first choice. It's almost like admission to college. I actually scared because, here I am in a room with a guy, a foreigner, and there's an interpreter there. A foreigner who basically decided my fate for the rest of my life, where I'm going to be. I think after the 4th time they interviewed me, I got accepted.
After 18 tumultuous months in Malaysia, V. Truong thought he was headed to America at last. But then, a setback. V was moved to another refugee camp, this one in the Philippines.
All these people who got American visa, they want these people to spend 6 months in the Philippines refugee camp that's set up by the American government in order for them to learn about American culture, American language, and what you do when you get to America.
V wondered if he would ever make it to America. It had been 3 years since he'd seen his mother and siblings, more than a year since he'd been sent to the Philippines. But V. Truong was not ready to give up. In 1990, it finally happened. A great big Texas welcome to America here in Houston, where he moved in with an uncle.
I remember the day I stepped out of the airport and I saw cars everywhere.
Cars?
Yeah, it's just amazing. We don't have cars in Vietnam. We transport in bicycle and motorbicycle.
V, a passionate learner, looked forward to starting school.
I got here in January of 1990, so I started second semester in 7th grade in Spring Oak Middle School in down Houston, Texas. I remember that.
How were the other students when you first came to school? Were they accepting? Were they welcoming?
No, a lot of them, they just look at me very strange, just because first on to them I look funny. Second of all, I didn't speak the language.
V thought he had left danger behind in Vietnam, but here on the grounds of an American school, he was fighting for his life all over again.
The same group of about 6 students. What they would do is they would look for me, and they would like pull their eyes down so that, you know, imitating Asian American cap. And when I kept resisting to their pushing me, that's when the strike started, and then started kicking.
A distraught V went to the school's principal for help.
I end up in detention instead of them because they make up whatever story they make with the principal. I wasn't able to tell my side of the story.
Feeling powerless, V had to make a stand. He had 2 options.
I would join my friend in the Vietnamese gang, or, you know, stop the protection and be a big guy, everybody's afraid of me and start bullying other people, or doing something about and getting the education.
V. Truong chose the high road. He would use his mind to overcome his tormentors.
And I started to learn the language because I knew that if I don't learn the language, it keep on happening. I promised myself that I will never again in a situation where I cannot do anything about it.
V hit the books and learned the language. He also learned something else.
One day, I saw another book on the table next to me, and in that book, it's basically saying best colleges and university in America. And as I look at it, all of the quote-unquote the best one happened to be in Boston. So I'm like, well, maybe I should be in Boston instead.
17 years old and possessing an 8th grade education, V. Truong packed up his few belongings and headed 1,800 miles northeast. The tide was about to turn for this Vietnamese immigrant right here in Boston.
Tomorrow on Chronicle, he's back in Beantown and back in the business. The Coffee Connection's George Howell. Next up, building a new family in Boston.
In 1991, V landed in Boston with his American dream to get the best education he could. He only knew one person here, a friend he had met 3 years before in a refugee camp. V learned that Cathedral High School in the South End welcomed immigrants.
The school was very supportive of my attempt to attend a private Catholic school without having any family to support me. What happened is that they gave me a scholarship.
From the time I met him and I had him in class, he would spend countless hours doing homework, always very exact, would come after class to see that he was doing the right thing. Very helpful to other kids because he's very bright.
A quick learner, V graduated from Cathedral High in only 3 years.
And I think he worked very, very hard. His record, you know, he was a salutatorian, was second in his class when he graduated. And he took very high-level courses.
In 1994, he was awarded a Cardinal Madero Scholarship to attend Boston University. From there, V was off to Northeastern Law School. The realization of his dream was now in sight.
I admire the U.S. Structure, if I may, structure of politics, of government, and of the legal system. In America, you have the check and balances, you have 3 different branches, and you have a living, operating constitution. The structure in Vietnam is on about the party, the Communist Party.
For V, law school was a grueling schedule of work and study.
For years, I was in school, and right now I inherit like $100,000 student loans. I got partial scholarship to Northeastern Law School. I also work almost full-time at the Sheriff Department.
The hard work paid off. With graduation from law school in 2001, waiting for V was a full-time job at the Sheriff's Department. Former Sheriff Richard Rouse.
He's very industrious. He does the work of 3 people. But I think he's got a real yearning for justice because it's shaped by his experiences and his family's experiences.
Not only did V impress his boss, he formed a lasting friendship with his colleague, Helen Stavisky.
And I think I represented like a mother figure for him here because his mom was back in Vietnam.
As we go on, I told her about my stories and all that. She never stopped supporting me then. Everything I do, she always helped me.
And when V needed to make one of life's big decisions, he turned to his new friends for guidance. Harold Stavisky.
When I think he wanted to look to someone, I think he knew he was getting married, and we wanted someone to give him away.
Oh, we gave him away. We were in the wedding.
With the joy of a new marriage to UI came a new and important job as a prosecutor for Suffolk County DA Daniel Conley.
You're not doing V any favors by hiring him. Your office needs him.
My understanding, more than 10,000 Vietnamese live here now in Boston, and V is going to provide a substantial service to that community by assisting victims. It's the whole notion in the Vietnamese culture that law enforcement, police, prosecutors, courts were things to be feared. And there are very few Vietnamese professionals like V who have chosen the law. And I think V will be a tremendous role model.
With the job came a pay cut for V, $15,000 a year less. But V says his mission is more important than any paycheck.
I really like, first on, to prove to the Vietnamese Americans, to prove to them that American legal system not just simply for Americans, it's for all Americans, including Vietnamese Americans.
Just 12 years ago, V. Truong came to this country with a dream to make a better life for himself. Now, with a new dream, he hopes to make a better life for others.
Whatever goal that I want, if I have enough determination not to give up, and the patience just to follow up with it, and then, you know, the trust in something higher than myself, I should be able to make it.